James Ford, who went on to become the chaplain in the U.S. House of Representatives. Jane Pauley had a remarkable interview in the last 24 hours. She met with the family of Jeremy Glick, who was on United Flight 93, the one that was scheduled to go from Newark to San Francisco. And it now seems quite clear that when it turned around and headed back toward Washington, D.C., that several people on board, it does appear, wrestled or fought with the hijackers on board and forced the plane into the ground, killing all on board before it could get to the nation's capital. Jane Pauley now with the family members of Jeremy Glick.
Do you believe in fate?
I do.
Do you believe your husband was fated to be on that plane?
I do. He was scheduled to fly out on an earlier flight the day prior. I think just with, all of the badness that's been going on, that, God or some higher power knew that Jeremy had strength to somehow stop some of the bad that was going on. I believe that. I believe that Jeremy was meant for a higher purpose.
What if he hadn't been on that plane?
I'm not asking that. I'm not asking that. I'm not going there. He was,
Wherever that doomed plane was heading that Tuesday morning, it never got there with its payload of jet fuel and 45 innocent people. And evidence strongly indicates Americans owe a debt of gratitude to the citizen heroes aboard Flight 93. One of them was 31-year-old Jeremy Glick, the middle son of Joan and Lloyd Glick of Hewitt, New Jersey. The entire family, including a brother who joined us by phone from Tokyo, wanted to tell us the story of his life and his heroic death as a keepsake for his baby daughter, born only 12 weeks ago. The story began with a phone call Tuesday morning. His father-in-law answered the phone at his home in New York's Catskill Mountains, where his daughter Liz and granddaughter Emmy were visiting.
We had received a call from Jeremy as he was boarding the plane at 7 in the morning, 7:30, to say good morning to Liz or goodbye to Liz. And the baby had been up all night, and so we let Lizzie sleep. So it was a 45-second call, have a good trip. And we went about our business. Lizzie was sleeping.
Jeremy Glick had been booked on United Flight 93 out of Newark, bound for San Francisco. The plane departed on schedule, 8 a.m. Breakfast was served 38 passengers by 5 attendants. They settled in for the 5.5-hour flight, not knowing what the rest of us were watching in horror.
My son called from Westchester, said, turn the TV on. I turned the TV on, and the crashes were occurring. And I just had a gut feeling that Jeremy's up in the air, but hopefully he's gone. And Liz was up now, and the news was going on. And I was like turning TVs off. I didn't want Lizzie to worry that something was going on. I think she knew, and maybe she didn't want me to worry. And then the phone rings at about 9:45, and it's Jeremy. My wife picked up the phone, and we said, oh, Jeremy, thank God, we're so worried. And he said, it's bad news. And he said, let me talk to Liz, and that's when they started talking.
Liz, do you know what time in the flight you got the call?
He had said, they had been up for about an hour, and there were some, very bad men that had come onto the plane. I'm not sure if how long they had been up before the plane was hijacked. But he said that the men had a bomb and they had a knife. He said that they were Arabic-looking men. I think he said that they were wearing red headbands. Was the description. He said that there were 3 of them. Very surprised that these people could have boarded the plane.
Did he say that they were flying the plane?
He didn't say anything. I asked him if the pilots had been in contact with them to tell them what was going on, and he said that no contact had been made by the pilots. It seemed that the men had taken over the plane and had moved everyone to the back of the plane and kind of left him there.
Jeremy told her he was calling from a plane airphone. Their conversation, Liz says, lasted for more than 20 minutes.
So he was free to talk with you, or was he trying to speak to you surreptitiously?
He was free to talk to me. I was a little bit, I think, surprised by, you know, the air of what, you know, the aura of what was going on the plane. I was surprised by how calm it seemed in the background.
I didn't hear
any screaming. I didn't hear any noises. I didn't hear any commotion. It almost didn't make sense to me, you know, that such a terrible thing could be happening, yet what I was hearing in the background and in his voice was not, you know, as bad as what was really happening on that flight.
There was no hysteria on the ground either. Liz's mom had the wit to call 911 from another line. Authorities patched into Jeremy's call from the sky.
We ran and got the cell phone and dialed 911 and tried to get a link where Lizzie was talking to Jeremy and Joanne was talking to the state police, and questions were going back and forth.
Who exactly was on the other end of the phone?
The New York State trooper barrack, I'm not sure, maybe in Kingston, New York or something like that, where the 911 call routed.
Were they asking Jeremy questions too?
They were listening. They had not been able to, I had heard them tap in, but they were not able to ask questions.
He said there was a bomb.
Yeah.
Did he say what the bomb looked like?
It was something with a red tag around it. He was confused by it. I mean, it doesn't really make sense to me, but there was something on it with a red something, a box with something red around it, a bow or something like that.
Did he seem to believe that it was, in fact, a bomb?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did he ask you about the World Trade Center, or did you bring it up?
He asked me. I remember I was standing in the living room. It was actually right in front of me on the television. And he said, "Liz, I need to know something." One of the other passengers had talked to their spouse, and he had said that they were crashing planes into the World Trade Center. And was this true? And I hesitated for a moment because he's in the air. Do I want to tell him something so horrible? What is he going to do with this information? Is he going to go into a panic? And I just, you know, hesitated for a minute, and I said, "You need to be strong, but yes, they are doing that." And he was confused. He didn't know if they were going to blow up the plane or if the plane had another mission.
He didn't tell you that one of the passengers had been stabbed?
No.
And had already died?
No.
Was there any talk, any exchange about speculating? You know, what could they be doing? Where could they be taking us?
We were able to ask Jeremy some questions, and it was guided by that 911 call. You know, but he was able to describe where he was. You know, they were still flying high at the time that this happened. He was able to see rural landscape, and the plane had turned. It wasn't going to California.
He knew it had turned.
Yeah. He felt the plane was circling and, you know, circling, and it wasn't going to California.
He was right. Dateline obtained radar data showing the path of United Flight 93. A little more than an hour into the flight, it makes a sharp turn off course near Cleveland, Ohio. Radio communication is switched off. Dateline has also been able to confirm that a new flight plan was filed from on board, perhaps by a fourth hijacker, identified today as a pilot. Destination, Reagan International Airport. The plane was now on a direct course for Washington, D.C.
He knew something very bad was going to happen. He needed to know what was going to happen. Were they just going to blow the plane up, or was it going to crash into something else, because that made all the difference.
As Liz and Jeremy debriefed each other, he was beginning to see the diabolical plan, that he was not a hostage, he was strapped to a guided missile. These high school sweethearts, 1988 prom king and queen, married 5 years last month, brand new parents, seem to be saying farewell.
We said "I love you" 1,000 times, over and over and over again, and it just brought so much peace to us. And I mean, it wasn't even the word. I felt, you know, the feeling from it. And you know, he told me to, you know, he said, "I love Emmy, who's our daughter, and to take care of her." And then he said, "You know, whatever decisions you make in your life, I need you to be happy, and I will respect any decisions that you make." And that's what he said. I think that gives me the most comfort. He sounded strong. He didn't sound panicked, you know, very clear-headed. I told him to just, you know, put a picture of me and Emmy in his head to be strong.
So you were strong for him as he was strong for you?
I mean, neither of us panicked. He knew that he was not going to make it out of there. I had hope. I had hope. I was focused on making him know that I was okay.
How did you do that?
I don't know. I have no idea how I'm so strong right now. I mean, you can ask my dad. I'm a very emotional person.
There was a moment where, when they said they had the bombs, and she panicked. I mean, she went, "Oh my God, Jeremy's and they've got the bomb," and then I could hear her say, "Okay, okay, okay, I'll be strong." But there was just that moment, and then she had it, and it was like a normal conversation in a terrible situation.
Normal conversation?
I mean, it was, Jeremy, do they have automatic weapons?
She was asking questions like I'm asking questions?
Right. Right. And he was asking questions. She would say, Jeremy, they're not sure what they want to do. They've been talking whether they should rush the people or should they just wait. It was, here's a situation, and we've got choice A, choice B.
What did you think?
What did I think? I thought there was a chance. While this was going on, I think we turned the sound on in the TV. They switched to the Pentagon. Another crash has taken place while we're on the phone. And I'm saying, well, at least he's not in that one. I mean, there's...
I was doing the same exact thing.
So there was hope that he could overcome it.
There was a plan being hatched in the back of that 757, now a little more than a half hour from the nation's capital. It was a suicide mission in a way, but not to take lives, but to save them. Flying over sparsely populated Pennsylvania coal country, another passenger, Thomas Burnett, told his wife by cell phone that 3 of them were talking about rushing the hijackers. Jeremy told Liz they were going to take a vote.
He was asking me, I need some advice, what to do. Should we, we're talking about attacking these men, what should I do? And, I was scared about giving him the wrong, information. I didn't want to do something wrong and have something terrible happen. And, so I asked him if they were armed, and he said he had seen knives, and but there were no guns. And then, I finally just decided, gut instinct, that, honey, you need to do it. And then he joked. He's like, okay, I have my butter knife from breakfast, which is totally like Jeremy. And then he said to me, I'm going to leave the phone here. Stay on the line. I'll be back. And then I gave the phone to my dad because I didn't want to hear what had happened. And I just prayed. I just sat there and prayed.
That this son, husband, father, brother, and friend would rise to the occasion comes as no surprise to the people who watched him grow up.
When Jeremy was little, he was so obsessed with superheroes that he would call me Wonder Woman.
And playing fireman as a kid, it's eerie almost how well he fit the part he would grow up to play.
Jeremy won the Citizens Cup at 11 years old.
And he was the biggest, It
was like a giant teddy bear. And he just fell into his arms and wanted to see that forever.
He was a big guy, and he liked big guy things.
But nobody knew he was in harm's way Tuesday morning. In fact, even when told he was in the plane, his mother was absolutely certain he wasn't, not knowing he delayed his business trip.
So I drove home, and we passed by a church, and I said, I have to stop. And I stopped and opened the doors to the church, and all of a sudden organ music was playing, and in my heart I knew he had died.
16-year-old Joanna, the youngest of 6 children, is the one who had to tell Jonah, the oldest brother.
Jonah, can you hear us?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Jonah lives in Tokyo now, and because airports are closed, he's still stranded there. Our telephone hookup was their first contact.
Say hi to your mom and your whole family.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Jonah.
Hi.
Jonah.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Hi, Jonah. It's Liz. I can't wait to see you.
We sat and talked for almost 3 hours, sharing a lot of good memories, and of course, some tears.
I have so much to say, but I just I'm really happy to have Jeremy as my brother. And